October 14, 1066, a date that changed the course of English history forever. On that fateful day, the fields near the small village of Hastings witnessed a bloody and decisive battle that would seal the fate of a kingdom. The Battle of Hastings wasn't just a clash of armies, it was a confrontation between two cultures, two leaders, and two visions for England's future. By the end of the day, one king lay dead, and another stood victorious, heralding an era of profound transformation. This is the story of how William the Conqueror's victory reshaped England, setting the stage for centuries of political, cultural, and societal evolution. Welcome to the tale of the Battle of Hastings. In 1066, England was a kingdom teetering on the brink of chaos. King Edward the Confessor, who had ruled for over 2 decades, died without an heir. His death sparked a fierce succession crisis, with 3 powerful figures vying for the throne: Harold Godwin's son, the Earl of Wessex, crowned by the English nobility as the new king; William, Duke of Normandy, who claimed Edward had promised him the throne years earlier; Harold Hardrada, the King of Norway, who asserted his own ancestral claim. The stakes couldn't have been higher. Harold Godwin's son faced an almost impossible challenge, defending his newly won crown against 2 formidable adversaries from different directions. In September 1066, Harold Hardrada invaded England, landing in the north with a massive Viking army. Harold Godwin's son rushed to meet the threat, leading his forces to a decisive victory at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, but Harold's triumph came at a heavy cost. His army was exhausted, and there was little time to recover. Just days later, news arrived of William's invasion in the south. The Duke of Normandy had crossed the English Channel with a formidable force, determined to press his claim to the English throne. Harold marched his weary troops nearly 200 miles in less than 2 weeks, arriving near Hastings on October 13. Both sides prepared for a battle that would decide England's future. At dawn on October 14, the two armies faced each other. Harold's forces, primarily made up of housecarls and herdsmen, formed a strong defensive position atop Senlac Hill. Armed with shields and axes, they relied on their shield wall, a formidable formation designed to repel enemy attacks. William's Norman army, on the other hand, was a mix of knights, archers, and infantry. With his forces organized into 3 divisions, Normans, Bretons, and Flemings, William had a clear plan: use a combination of archery, cavalry charges, and feigned retreats to break the English line. The battle raged for hours, with the English shield wall holding firm against repeated Norman attacks. But William was a master strategist. Realizing that brute force alone wouldn't break the English defenses, he ordered his troops to feign retreat. The tactic worked brilliantly. Believing the Normans were in disarray, parts of Harold's army broke formation to pursue them. This moment of weakness allowed the Norman cavalry to regroup and attack with devastating effect. As the day wore on, the English forces grew increasingly vulnerable. Then, in a pivotal moment, Harold Godwin's son was struck down, legend says, by an arrow to the eye, though this remains debated. With their leader dead, the English army's resistance crumbled. By nightfall, the battle was over. William emerged victorious, earning the title William the Conqueror. But his victory was just the beginning. Securing the throne required months of further campaigning, as resistance flared across England. On Christmas Day 1066, William was crowned King of England at Westminster Abbey, marking the start of Norman rule. The cultural and political landscape of England was forever altered. Norman customs, language, and architecture reshaped the kingdom, and the feudal system took root, reorganizing society from the ground up. The Battle of Hastings wasn't just a clash of armies, it was a turning point in history. William's victory ended centuries of Anglo-Saxon rule and ushered in a new era of Norman dominance. The Domesday Book, commissioned by William, provided a detailed survey of England, reflecting the sweeping changes in land ownership. Norman French heavily influenced the English language. While iconic structures like the Tower of London symbolize Norman authority, even today, the impact of the Norman conquest is evident. From legal systems to cultural traditions, the legacy of Hastings continues to shape England's identity. The Battle of Hastings was more than a fight for a crown, it was a defining moment that reshaped a nation. The story of William the Conqueror and Harold Godwin's son reminds us of the enduring consequences of ambition, strategy, and resilience. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. What do you think was the most significant impact of the Norman conquest? Let's discuss in the comments below.